Okay, so welcome back, everybody, once again to our Thoughtful Thursday. The Improvement Association Head Start program is offering Thoughtful Thursdays to kind of focus on parent-family engagement and do parent presentations. We understand that our parents are they're facing so many challenges right now, especially with virtual learning and having to figure out the new normal. And so we wanted to offer a moment for us to just kind of get some information that will help us with overall wellness goals and with overall outcomes to better assist us as we navigate life and as we help our children prepare for school and for readiness later on in life. And so today, this is not our sixth session. This is actually our seventh parent presentation and our seventh session. So congratulations if you made all seven so far. And if not, we still have many more to go. But today's topic is going to be on the FRESH initiative and nutritional awareness. And as I see many of you guys doing right now, go ahead and add your information into our chat box so that we will know where you're coming from and what capacity if you're a parent. But we're so excited to have a guest presenter today, Ms. Kathy Hurt. And she's going to be talking, and I'm going to kind of share a little bit about her background. But anybody who doesn't know much about the Improvement Association, we are providing community action services in the counties of Brunswick, Sussex, Surrey, Greensville, Dinwiddie, and the city of Emporia. So we have a large territory. Our Head Start program is funded to serve 228 children. And thus far, due to the pandemic, we have enrolled 164 children. So that's still a work in progress. But we're super excited about what this year has to bring. And we know with new challenges comes creativity. So we're going to embrace that. Okay, so just to share something about our guest presenter today, Ms. Kathy Hurt. She's from the Danville area, and she works as the program coordinator for the Cancer Research and Resource Center, which is an outreach office of VCU Massey Cancer Center. She has worked there for the past 6 years. She's a dedicated mother of 3 boys and a proud daughter of a breast cancer survivor. Also, she is a huge fan of Head Start and has a wealth of information to share. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you all Ms. Kathy Hurt.
Hey, thank you. So this is can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so
you can, okay.
So I stopped sharing mine so you can share yours. Here you go.
Okay, gotcha. Let's go back to the start. And I want to thank you guys for having me. And I guess you know Tia. So we're in the sister office. Tia's in Brunswick, Lawrenceville. We're in Danville. So, outreach office to the public. We welcome you guys to, any questions you may have. And I'm really excited to talk to you. This is a map of the state of Virginia. I don't know if you guys have seen this Robert Wood Johnson Foundation map before, but it ranks each locality in the state. They do this for all the states. And the darker areas of the state are, they rank lower. So you can see the darker areas of the state, and that's kind of your area where we are. So, we like to point out that, this is looking at length and quality of life. And so they're measuring things like tobacco use, diet and exercise, alcohol, sexual activity, access to care, education, income, lots of different things. So, while we do work for Massey Cancer Center, we like to talk a lot about lifestyle behaviors, prevention, risk reduction, that sort of thing. So that's why I'm really excited to talk with you guys, because there is so much that you can be thinking about with these young lives you guys touch and are so close to. Smoking, we all know the dangers, excess body weight, alcohol, sun, skin cancer, diet, nutrition. That's what I'm mostly going to be talking about today, because I do a lot of talks with middle school and high school students, and that is the topic I think people are most interested in and surprised by. And then Massey, we talk a lot about HPV. I'm going to move this. The human papilloma virus. That is a really prevalent sexually transmitted infection, and there's a vaccine to prevent it. So we talk a lot about that. And then of course, exercise. So there's a lot we can do to help reduce risk of not just cancer, but any disease really. And sleep is so important. That's another thing. In my talks with young people, I'll ask them how much sleep they're getting. And this chart shows you how much sleep people should be getting, young children should be getting. Adults, it's 7-8 hours a night. And children are not getting near enough sleep. And this is a problem. It's linked to a lot of health issues. So it's something I really like to talk about. Again, the HPV, human papilloma virus, is the most prevalent STI out there. If you combine all the others, add them all together, they don't come anywhere close to HPV. 3 out of 4 of us will be infected with HPV at some point in our lives and not even know it, because often you don't have any symptoms, and our body recognizes the virus and cleanses, and everything is fine. But sometimes if that virus lingers, it can go on to cause cancers. So we recommend that girls and boys both at the young age of 11 and 12 get this vaccine to help prevent these cancers. So I'm not going to talk about that today, really. I just wanted to throw that in there because it really is so important. Also, you need to know your family medical history, because 5 to 10% of cancers, there is that heritable component. So you do want to know your family history so that you can adhere to the screening guidelines for the various cancers. The reason you need to know your family is because these guidelines are for the average risk, people at average risk. If you have a cancer in your family, you're not at average risk, you're at a higher risk, which means you need to get screened at a younger age than the average person. So you need to know your family history. It's important to talk about it with your children, with your parents, with your aunts and uncles. You need to understand what's going on and make sure your doctor knows what's going on. And then, for example, if your mother had colorectal cancer and was diagnosed at age 37, you should be getting screened at age 27, 10 years younger. So this is just really important information to have and share, and make sure your doctors are aware of, because most doctors are on top of this, but not everyone is. Like, we can't know everything, and the guidelines are always changing. So it's really important that we really be the best stewards of our health. So again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to call Tia or our office in Danville. But you can see the earlier you catch these cancers, your survival rates are a lot better. So just keep all that in mind. But basically, really, again, I wanted to talk about food. So I'm going to start, we're looking at Los Angeles here, and I know, like, we are nowhere near Los Angeles, but I think this paints a really good picture of food and the importance of food. So if you look at the two areas of LA, South LA and West LA, you can see the different numbers of grocery stores, farmers markets, fast food restaurants, and liquor stores. And you can see that South LA is not doing as well as West LA in those regards, right? So which area do you think is likely to eat more fruits and vegetables? The one that has more farmers markets, fewer fast food restaurants, more grocery stores. So yeah, in South LA, adults are 2 times less likely to eat the 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables a day than the adults in West Los Angeles. And who's likely to be more obese? South LA children are 2 times as likely to be obese, and the adults are 3 times as likely. And who's going to have higher diabetes death rate? South LA has a 3.5 times higher death rate than West LA. So what we're eating, where we're living, really does, it plays such an important role. And so when you think about that map that I showed you earlier with the health rankings and how poorly our areas ranking, and think about, you know, are we living in a food desert? And so I'm showing you these maps here. I'll admit this person, Alice. We have you guys ever heard of the term food desert? Can you, I can't, yes,
Yes,
you don't know what
I
food
have.
desert is? Yeah, okay, awesome.
I have.
So, you know, there's correlation is not causation, but there is a correlation, as you see. I mean, look at these maps. And, you know, the darker areas are faring worse in the food deserts and length and quality of life. And, oh no, yeah. There we go.
And Kathy, can I piggyback on that with the food
Yes.
desert? Because Brunswick County, we are considered a food desert because in the entire county, we have one grocery store. Years ago, we had Red and White, Star Value, but as of now, 2020, we only have one grocery store, and that's Food Lion.
And now, and how about a food swamp? Have you heard of a food swamp?
No.
Your food desert. And the food swamp, as Tia was saying, your
No.
food desert, you don't have access to a lot of good, healthy foods. Food swamp is you're just overwhelmed with fast food, you know, unhealthy food options. So they're a little bit different, but largely it's a problem either way. What were you gonna say, Tia?
Oh, no, and we don't have a lot of restaurants here either. I guess like fast food chains or restaurants.
Yeah. Anyway, so we know what nutrition, you know, has to do with weight and cancer. It's all connected. And so there are some cancers that are especially prone to, you got to watch your weight. So visceral fat is the fat stored deep around the belly, in the belly. That's the most difficult type. So you, that's the one you really want to be careful about. So just throwing that out there. So we're going to talk about eating better and moving more, the importance of this and how it helps reduce inflammation. Inflammation is what causes, increases risk of chronic disease, including some cancers. And so I'm going to run through, have you guys seen these obesity maps of the United States? I'm going to run through like 25 years of maps really quickly, starting in 1985. You can see the white states, there's no data yet. The light blue, less than 10% population is obese. Darker blue, it's between 10 and 14%. Now watch what happens to the United States over the next 25 years with obesity. You see they're adding a new category and another.
Wow.
So this is where okay, so now we've just had a new census. We're gonna have new maps. I can assure you there will be new categories added. It has gotten worse. So this is a problem. And, you know, we need to, children, they look at that and they just start laughing and wanna know if it's real. And of course it's Photoshopped. But it does paint a picture, because if you saw this in a zoo, you would really be very worried. Like, this is a problem, and yet that's what's going on, and it's happening over time, and we're just accepting it and not worrying about it. But this is a problem. And if you look at, again, correlation is not causation, but if you look at the breakdown of money spent on groceries back in the early 80s versus 2012, which kind of follows the maps we were looking at, people, processed foods and sweets were down here at the bottom of the list in the yellow. Beverages, bottom of the list, other foods. Look how all the processed foods and sweets went up to the top of the list. And the good, whole, nutritious foods dropped down. So the way we started spending money changed a whole lot in a short amount of time. And let's see. So we want to really think about reducing processed food in our diets. And yet, if we've got 600,000 items in our food supply, 80% of them have added sugar. And this is a big problem. So if you think about the grocery store, your traditional grocery store, and you could think about trying to avoid the interior of the store and shop the perimeter more, you're going to be avoiding a lot of problems in the aisles. And you want to look at buying foods. Reading the labels is so important. And if you can find foods that have fewer than 5 ingredients, those are the foods you want to buy. If you're looking at foods with a long list of ingredients, then you're getting a lot of preservatives and chemicals and things you can't pronounce, and it's not good for you. And so just kind of keep this in mind, because this added sugar is a big problem. And I don't know if you guys have ever really studied the aisle of beans or options. There's so many opportunities to buy beans. And, you know, these are all beans. These are just a few samples, but look at the lists of ingredients in these beans. And this one on the right over here has just a few ingredients. This is the organic can. It's got water, organic dark, kidney beans, and sea salt. Just 3 ingredients versus these that have the added sugar and all the other preservatives and things going on. So reading labels is really, really, really so important, because you think, oh gosh, I'm getting a can of beans, this is going to be good for me. And yet you're getting a lot of other things as well. Added sugars, added salts. Sugar is a cheap preservative. It's highly addictive. It is linked to a lot of health problems, including cancer. Some people think that sugar ought to be regulated just like smoking, because, you know, smoking's addictive and linked to major health problems. And yet food companies keep throwing it in there and getting us hooked. So we have a real love affair with sugar in this country, and it is linked to a lot of health issues. So we really, really need to focus on less processed food and more whole foods and fiber. You know, fruits and vegetables, whole chickens, and a lot of our sugar intake comes from what we drink. And so I'm sure you guys have heard of Rev Your Bev and Rethink Your Drink and stuff like that. But if you can just go with the green down here at the bottom, water, seltzer water, skim, or 1% milk versus these other options in the red and the yellow. So men and women are supposed to get 9 teaspoons or so of sugar a day, and women 6. A small fast food sweet tea meets or exceeds that. And who orders a small anything anymore, right? I mean, that's just not the way we roll. And so, you know, you look at the different sugar contents of these beverages that we drink, and, you know, if we could just cut these things from our daily lives, it would make a huge difference. And a lot of people are very surprised about the juices, you know, because the added sugars we definitely want to worry about, but even juices that, you know, the concentrated juices, that's just a lot of sugar for your body to take all at one time. So, you know, if somebody wants orange juice, it'd be really great if they ate the orange instead of drinking the can of juice, because with the orange comes the fiber, and fiber is so important to processing that sugar. So this gives you an idea of other drinks and sugar, the amount of sugar in it. So, but also, like I was saying earlier, it's not just in our drinks, it's also in the foods. And these processed foods do cause inflammation, and inflammation is linked to lots of disease that we would rather avoid. And then, of course, the whole foods, those are the foods that fight the inflammation. That's going to help us live healthier lives, lead healthier lives. So one thing, like with children, breakfast foods are huge. And, you know, Pop-Tarts, you can see the sugar here that's in the little bag represents one Pop-Tart or a package of Pop-Tarts. And the bigger bag is the whole box. Like that's how much sugar is in a box of Pop-Tarts. So it's not just Pop-Tarts though, it's any cereal, really. Any cereal has a lot of sugar in it already, even if it's not a sugary cereal, you know, Cheerios. But and yogurt is almost a dessert unless you're getting the unsweetened yogurt that nobody wants to eat. But if you buy the unsweetened, and you can sweeten it with your own fruits and that sort of thing. But yogurt is essentially a dessert. So you want to watch that as well, these breakfast foods. We do want to try to work fruits and vegetables in different amounts. I wrote it down for young people. I think it's like, oh, I'm sorry, not used to talking, for like 2 to 3 cups of fruit and vegetables a day. It's not unlike this. And this was a nice sort of infographic to show how you can work fruits and vegetables into a day without feeling like you're overwhelmed by the fruits and vegetables. But you do want to, you know, on the flip side of nutrition, of course, is exercise, which is so important. And so a lot of people think, oh, well, I play tennis with someone who loves to just really play tennis so she can then go eat all she wants to eat, all the bad things. But really, you cannot out exercise a bad diet. You have to burn 3,500 calories to burn a pound. And yet the average person consumes between 2,000 and 2,500 calories a day. So it's really difficult to out exercise a bad diet, not just in terms of calories, but in terms of what it's doing to your body and your system and your mind. So, but exercise is so important, and just getting a few minutes worked in a day is really beneficial. Dr. Nguyen, our new Cancer Center director, posted a video for a lung health program we did not too long ago. And he said, especially in this time of COVID, if you could just get outside and walk 15 minutes a day, it could really make a difference in your health outcome with regard to COVID and what's going on right now. So exercise is so important. It's important not just for our physical well-being, but for our mental and emotional health. And it has a lot of other positive effects as well. And then on Massey's Facebook page, we have been working with this doctor who has created this exercise video that quickly, it's like a 10-minute long exercise video, runs through 3 simple exercises you can do very easily. Just work it in, you know, as you're in the kitchen doing dishes, or, you know, in between shows during commercials. So you might want to go on Massey's Facebook page and find this video with Dr. William Carter. But we do have this initiative called FRESH. It's the Facilitating Responsible Eating During Survivorship, and that is kicking off on Monday, and it is a nutrition program for cancer survivors. So anyone who has been diagnosed with cancer is invited to participate in this free series on Monday evenings at 5:30. And we'll have a couple of Massey nutritionists working with people to talk about, you know, good things to eat to really enhance health and well-being. So if any of you know of anyone who might want to participate in this, like I said, that program kicks off on Monday at 5:30. And but there is some preliminary work that you need to do in order to participate. And you would need to get started on it tomorrow. Like I would need to hear from you tomorrow, because you have to list what you've eaten one weekday, actually 2 weekdays and 1 weekend. So we would love to have you. It's free. It's a great opportunity and should be really interesting. So, and we have other studies. We have this Virginia Living Well research and registry that talks a lot about lifestyle and environment, asks a lot of questions about how you're living and what you're doing, and just to get a better sense of people living in rural Virginia and things that we might need to be looking for to help us with our programming so we can serve everyone best. So that's it for me. I have no idea how long that took, but I tried to roll quickly because I could go on and on about this.
Oh, Kathy, you did wonderful. Thank you so much. That was a wealth of information. So I can't speak for everybody, but I have a page full of notes. So thank you so much. I didn't know if people had questions before we jump off, but I think you covered so much in such a little bit of time. And I recorded this as well. So if you guys missed something or want to see some of the slides again, you can go back to the recording, which we'll send out. Yeah, we'll send it out at least by tomorrow. But at this time, if folks have questions, just wanted to give them an opportunity to see what questions they may have.
Somebody raised a hand as I was talking about the nutrition. Was that because someone was interested?
Yeah, I see that Pamela Hawthorne.
Oh, okay. Is that?
Yeah, I see her. The hand is raised on there.
Oh, okay. Is she? I can't. Maybe that was
okay. Okay. Well, if folks have questions.
Hi, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's a good session because this is the beginning of the new year and we can do something a little different if we start now.
Absolutely.
It's hard. You know what? It's a lot of information and really overwhelming to consider. And it's perfect, my goodness. But it's just kind of good to keep some of this in mind, especially when we have these little people we're molding and their tastes are developing, and we can start them off on the right foot at a younger age. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
Absolutely. And if anybody has additional questions that they want to ask, if you're kind of shy, don't want to utilize the unmute button, you can put them in the chat box. And I will share, Kathy has sent us a flyer for the Fresh Initiative. So I'll also send that along with the recording so that everyone can have access to that. So it's right at 4:30. I'm gonna share the screen really quick again, just so you guys can kind of get an idea of next week. So next week we're gonna take a break next week, but we'll come back for the next topic on housing and rental assistance and talk a little bit about how to buy a home. So make sure you tune in with us on January the 21st for that session. And we just want to say thank you again for everybody participating today. If you can I'm going to stop sharing the screen, but if you guys can just put your camera on if you're there and just give Miss Kathy a wave and wave to everybody. It'll be good to see all the faces. And
thank you so much for having me. It's good to see everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We got to get you back to talk a little bit more in depth on some of those topics, and we really appreciate you so much. And
Yeah,
Ms. Whitehead, thank you so much.
Appreciate what y'all are doing. Bye.
Kathy.
Okay. So bye, everybody.
you.
Have a good
Bye.
afternoon.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.